United States has imposed sanctions on 4 activists involved in flotilla missions seeking to break Israel's 19-year siege on Gaza, home to 2.3 million people, most of them displaced by Israel's genocidal war on the enclave. The sanctions were announced on Tuesday after at least 430 activists were abducted during Israeli interceptions of aid ships heading towards Gaza, which has been facing shortages of food and other necessities due to Israeli curbs on aid deliveries into the enclave.
Israeli lawmakers have voted to advance a bill that would dissolve parliament and pave the way for early elections. In a preliminary reading on Wednesday, 110 out of 120 lawmakers voted in favour and none against, while the rest did not cast their votes.
The number of suspected Ebola cases in Democratic Republic of the Congo and Uganda has risen to 600. With 139 suspected deaths, the World Health Organization has said the WHO Emergency Committee met in Geneva on Wednesday, where Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus confirmed to reporters that the virus remains a public health emergency of international concern, but not a pandemic emergency.
New York City hotel operators and unions have reached an 8-year labour deal covering about 25,000 workers, averting a strike over wages, workloads and staffing levels that had threatened to disrupt the city before the FIFA World Cup, said the head of the Hotel Association of New York City, Vijay Dandapani. The association's president and chief executive said on Tuesday that the mood among owners was overall positive after weeks of negotiations, though the industry made significant concessions. North Korea's first sport team to visit the South in 8 years has reached the Asian Women's Champions League final with Naegohyang Women FC's 2-1 win over Suwon FC women. Naegohyang came from behind to defeat their rivals from the South amid torrential rain in Suwon on Wednesday in a hard-fought semi-final played in a fair spirit without any major flashpoints.
GitHub, the popular developer platform owned by Microsoft, confirmed it was hacked and attackers had stolen data from around 3,800 internal code repositories. The code hosting and sharing giant said in a series of posts on X that it has no evidence of impact to customer information stored outside of GitHub's internal repositories, but noted its investigation was ongoing. GitHub said it detected and contained a compromise of an employee device involving a poisoned VS Code extension, referring to a plugin for Visual Studio Code, a popular code editor that developers use for programming.
Your shot at VC access, global visibility, TechCrunch coverage and $100,000 in equity-free funding is gone in a week. Battlefield 200 applications close May 27. If you're building a breakout startup or know a founder who is, this is the moment to act. NanoCo, the company behind security-focused OpenClaw alternative NanoClaw, has raised an oversubscribed $12 million seed round following a viral launch. Its founders tell TechCrunch the funding was led by Valley Capital Partners and saw participation from Docker Vercel, Monday.com, Slow Ventures and angels like Clem DeLange, CEO of Hugging Face.
A bill to provide for the constitution and regulation of the Pakistan Water and Power Development Authority Security Force, titled the WAPDA Security Force Bill 2026, was introduced in the National Assembly on Wednesday. The bill was moved by Federal Minister for Water Resources, Mohammed Muin Watu.
Recent Mpox cases reported in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa have raised concerns over signs of local transmission, suggesting the virus may no longer be limited to infections linked to international travel. Since August 2024, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa has recorded 28 confirmed Mpox cases, including 8 reported in 2026 and 1 death.
Discord has completed its rollout of end-to-end encryption for voice and video calls. The company said the protection now applies to all calls outside stage channels. Users do not need to turn on the feature manually, as the added security is enabled by default.
Thousands of Pakistani students admitted to Finnish universities for the September intake are facing growing uncertainty as delays and access issues linked to visa-related travel and residence permit processing continue to disrupt their plans. With no Finnish embassy operating in Pakistan, students have to rely on Qatar, particularly Doha, for residence permit procedures and biometric verification. However, many affected students say the current situation has made that process increasingly difficult.
Pakistan all-rounder Salman Ali Agha has received an official reprimand from the International Cricket Council, ICC, for breaching level 1 of the ICC Code of Conduct during the second test against Bangladesh at the Sylhet International Cricket Stadium. The incident occurred during Pakistan's second innings on Tuesday after Salman was dismissed in the 82nd over of the chase. While walking back to the pavilion, he struck an ad sign, an advertising hoarding, with his bat. Football's world governing body, FIFA, has framed the 26 World Cup's expansion from 32 to 48 teams as a watershed moment for inclusivity, opening the door for nations that have never qualified before. Indeed, 4 teams will be playing at their first World Cup in North America this summer: Cape Verde, Curacao, Jordan and Uzbekistan.
Goma, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Sadiki Patrick, 40, is still grappling with the loss of his 15-year-old daughter, Judith, in Mongboilu, a mining town in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. Judith is one of the latest victims of Ebola as the country battles yet another outbreak, the 17th in just 50 years. Oceans, to state the obvious, are big. That makes it hard for governments, shipping companies and insurance providers to know exactly what's happening on them at any particular moment. Doesn't help that these modern-day ships often aren't equipped with modern technology or the right software behind those sensors to properly analyse what they see. Quartermaster, an Arlington, Virginia-based startup, is building a solution to this problem that it calls SmartMast. It's quite literally a package of weather-hardened sensors like cameras and radios that go on a ship's mast and can relay real-time maritime data. Combined with an analytics platform that can interpret all that information, Quartermaster refers to it as a continuous distributed sensing network, a hive mind for millions of ships.
Over the last few months, Figma has struck partnerships with OpenAI and Anthropic to bake in support for AI CLI tools like Claude Code and Codex to allow users to use these coding environments alongside its design software. The company is now baking in its own take on AI smarts via a new AI agent that operates within its collaborative canvas. Figma says users can employ natural language text prompts to direct its new AI agent to generate new designs, edit existing ones, or automate tasks such as generating iterations of existing designs. Users can even fire up multiple agents that can do various tasks simultaneously.
The School for Contemporary and Islamic Learning, also known as SIL, has come under criticism after a parent alleged that its Lahore campus is still requiring students to appear in exams despite the Punjab government's decision to announce early summer holidays due to the ongoing heatwave. According to the complaint, students at SIL's defence branch have been asked to sit exams on May 25, even as temperatures remain extremely high.
The Sindh government has approved the construction of a modern terminal for trucks, trailers and heavy loading vehicles outside Karachi, along with a dedicated heavy vehicle track connecting Karachi port to the proposed terminal on the Northern Bypass. The decision was taken during a meeting of the Sindh Mass Transit Authority, chaired by Senior Minister Sharjeel Enam Memon, where several major transport and infrastructure projects were approved. Pakistan pace legend Wasim Akram has delivered a candid assessment of Pakistan's back-to-back test defeats to Bangladesh, expressing disappointment with the visitors' performance while also praising the hosts for their major progress in red ball cricket. Bangladesh sealed the series victory on the final morning, with their bowlers taking the last 3 Pakistan wickets to complete a comprehensive win.
The Punjab government has finalised a new law aimed at cracking down on gang activity, hooliganism, the decades-old Gunda Act 1959, with stricter and more comprehensive legislation. Under the proposed law, repeat offenders acts will be declared antisocial persons, while district intelligence committees will be empowered to identify and officially declare suspected individuals involved in criminal activities.
Google has announced Gmail Live, a new Gemini-powered feature that lets users ask questions about their inbox using natural language instead of typing search terms. The company introduced the feature on Tuesday at Google I/O 2026 as part of a wider expansion of AI Inbox for Gmail. Google says Gmail Live is designed to help users quickly find information buried in their emails, such as flight details, dentist appointments, Airbnb door codes, or school event information.
Islamabad, after a Sessions Court on Tuesday sentenced Umar Hayat to death for the murder of 17-year-old social media influencer Sana Yousaf. The detailed order made public on Wednesday as there were no mitigating circumstances in the case. Last year, Umar Hayat, son of a retired government official and a TikToker himself, was arrested a day after 17-year-old Yousaf was arrested a day after, on June 2025, was shot dead in her Islamabad.
Islamabad. PTI on Wednesday finally agreed to sit with the government to resolve their differences, provided incarcerated PTI founder and former Prime Minister Imran Khan is released from jail. Previously, the party and its founder repeatedly refused to engage in dialogue, referring to the incumbent government as thieves and dacoits in public statements.
Hassan Rahim shook fans in Toronto on May 10 when Indian singer Talwinder joined him on stage to perform their song Wishes live for the first time ever. Speaking about the day, Rahim told BBC Asian Network's Haroon Rashid he couldn't stop hugging his brother. The Pakistani pop sensation said, "At the end, music and art will win."
Cheering children, check. Military honor guard, check. Cannon fire and marching band, check. Vladimir Putin's welcome outside the Great Hall of the People was a near mirror image of the reception for Donald Trump last week. Congressman Thomas Massie, one of the most vocal critics of United States President Donald Trump, has lost his primary race to Trump-backed former Navy SEAL Ed Galrine in a major political victory for the Republican leader. Massie had angered Trump by publicly opposing military action against Iran and sponsoring a bill that resulted in the release of files linked to convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein and resisting parts of the president's agenda. His defeat in the most expensive US House of Representatives primary race in history highlighted Trump's continued influence over the Republican Party and the political risks faced by Republicans who break with him. South Korean chipmaker Samsung Electronics is facing one of the most serious workers' strikes in its history, with a protest which could affect the overall economy and the group's global supply of semiconductors. The company's workers' union has announced that more than 48,000 workers will stop work on Thursday to protest for 18 days over their bonus payments.
UK Electric has issued safety guidelines ahead of Eid al-Adha, urging citizens to follow precautionary measures to avoid electrical accidents during sacrificial activities. In its advisory, the power utility asked residents not to tie sacrificial animals to electricity poles or keep them near transformers and other electrical installations.
Next Gen Auto has announced the introduction of a battery protection sheet for all new JQ J7 vehicles following concerns raised after a recent incident involving a JQ J7 PHEV in Taubat, Neelam Valley. The company stated that all JQ J7 units dispatched from the factory on or after May 15, 2026 will come equipped with the battery protection sheet as part of an ongoing product enhancement initiative. NextGen also confirmed that customers who have already purchased the vehicle will receive the upgrade free of cost.